If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns locker room is reportedly in chaos, and the latest bombshell comes directly from star defensive end Myles Garrett. In a shocking revelation that has already set social media ablaze, Garrett admitted that he will no longer play alongside cornerback Denzel Ward, the comments, which were reportedly made during a private conversation that somehow leaked to the press, suggest deep-rooted issues between key players in the Browns roster. Fans have long speculated about friction among the team's stars, but this is the first time a top-tier player has openly acknowledged it. Garrett's statements did not stop there. He also claimed that Ward is widely disliked among his teammates, an assertion that has sent shockwaves through both the fanbase and analysts alike. While Ward has been considered one of the team's most talented and high-profile defensive backs, Garrett's comments paint a picture of a locker room divided, where personal differences may be spilling over into the professional sphere. The timing of this revelation, just as the Browns are preparing for what could be a crucial stretch in their season, makes it all the more explosive. Insider sources suggest that the tension has been simmering for months, if not longer, with minor disputes escalating into what appears to be an irreparable rift. According to reports, Garrett has become increasingly vocal about his dissatisfaction with Ward's presence on the field, citing disagreements over play execution, communication, and even off-field dynamics. While the specifics of their conflict remain murky, insiders suggest that what may have started as small frustrations between the competitive personalities has grown into a full-blown feud that affects not only their performance but also team morale. Coaches and management are reportedly scrambling to mediate the situation, attempting to prevent it from becoming a full-blown distraction ahead of the playoff push. Some sources claim that the tension has divided the defensive unit, with players allegedly taking sides. Though Garrett himself has not confirmed these claims, analysts speculate that such public comments could have ripple effects, influencing contract negotiations, trade talks, and even the locker room culture for seasons to come. The Browns front office is reportedly considering strategic adjustments to minimize the fallout, including potential shifts in defensive alignments that would limit direct interaction between Garrett and Ward during games. While some fans dismiss the feud as typical professional friction blown out of proportion by the media, others worry that it reflects a deeper cultural or personality clash that could define the team's trajectory moving forward. The narrative emerging from Cleveland is one of tension, frustration, and uncertainty, leaving observers questioning whether this season could be defined more by internal strife than on-field success. Sources indicate that the alleged animosity between Garrett and Ward is not just limited to disagreements on the field. Behind closed doors, tensions reportedly extend to team meetings, film sessions, and even social interactions within the locker room. Teammates have allegedly noticed the strain, with some avoiding conversations to stay out of the conflict, creating an unusual sense of distance within a group that typically thrives on cohesion and trust. According to insiders, Garrett's willingness to speak publicly, or at least semi-publicly, about his refusal to play alongside Ward signals an unprecedented level of frustration. The Browns, who were once seen as a tightly knit unit, now appear to be grappling with the challenges of managing the strong personalities whose competitive drives may no longer align. The situation has sparked debates among analysts, who question whether the team's coaching staff has the tools, patience, or authority to resolve what could become a season-defining issue. Ward, meanwhile, has remained largely silent in public, which some interpret as a strategy to avoid escalating the drama, while others see it as a sign of detachment or resignation. Reports suggest that Garrett's comments have already led to heated internal discussions, and the Browns' leadership is exploring contingency plans, including potential trades, benching, or altered roles within the defensive schemes. Fans across social media are divided, with some rallying behind Garrett as a team leader taking a stand, and others defending Ward as a victim of locker room politics, highlighting the polarizing nature of this controversy. The implications of Garrett's statements reach far beyond the immediate feud, affecting team chemistry and fan perception alike. Sports commentators have speculated that public acknowledgement of such tension could disrupt focus, creating a psychological hurdle for the team at a critical juncture in the season. The Browns, who have invested heavily in both players, now face the delicate task of balancing talent management with interpersonal dynamics. ensuring that on-field performance does not collapse under off-field conflicts. Rumors swirling around Cleveland suggest that Garrett's willingness to call out Ward has emboldened other players to express grievances that may have previously been kept private, raising questions about leadership and authority within the locker room. While Garrett's athletic prowess is unquestionable, insiders caution that his vocal stance could inadvertently strain relationships with teammates who may feel caught in the middle. The coaching staff reportedly faces a dual challenge: maintaining a competitive edge on the field while repairing or at least containing the fractured relationships off the field. Analysts note that high-profile conflicts of this nature can either galvanize a team if managed properly or spiral into lasting dysfunction if left unchecked. As media speculation grows, the Browns' management appears increasingly aware that handling the fallout delicately will be critical to salvaging both team performance and public perception. The narrative unfolding in Cleveland is reminiscent of past sports controversies, where internal discord became front-page news, amplifying pressure on everyone involved. Multiple insiders have emphasized that the dynamic between Garrett and Ward is about more than personal dislike. It may reflect deeper philosophical differences in how they approach the game. Garrett is said to favor an aggressive, high-risk defensive strategy, whereas Ward reportedly prioritizes positional discipline and conservative coverage. While these differences might normally be complementary in a diverse defensive lineup, sources suggest that clashing egos and communication breakdowns have magnified friction, making cooperation increasingly difficult. Analysts argue that the situation could serve as a cautionary tale for teams balancing star talent, highlighting how personal chemistry can influence outcomes as much as skill or strategy. Moreover, the Browns' public image, carefully cultivated over recent seasons, may suffer if the feud becomes a dominant storyline, overshadowing both victories and strategic achievements. Fans, meanwhile, are left to speculate whether this tension will escalate to trades, benchings, or even departures in the next offseason. Inside reports indicate that both players remain under contract, creating a high-stakes environment where management must navigate personalities carefully while preserving the team's competitive edge. The unfolding saga has all the hallmarks of a drama that extends far beyond the playing field, resonating with fans who follow the human stories behind professional sports as closely as the scores themselves. Cleveland's locker room is now a microcosm of conflict, talent, and public scrutiny, where every comment, every interaction, and every decision carries amplified weight. In response to the leak of Garrett's comments, media outlets and social platforms have erupted with speculation, conspiracy theories, and fan debates about what will happen next. Some fans argue that Ward should be traded immediately to diffuse tension, while others contend that Garrett's public stance risks alienating the very teammates he relies on to succeed. Rumors have begun circulating that the Browns' front office is quietly exploring trades and free agent alternatives, with insiders suggesting that contingency planning is underway, though no official statements have been made. Meanwhile, social media reactions range from memes and jokes to serious discussions about leadership, locker room culture, and player dynamics, turning the situation into a viral spectacle. Analysts caution that public opinion can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, influencing team decisions, player performance, and even market value. The narrative surrounding Garrett and Ward has transformed into more than a rumor. It is now a story about authority, influence, and the delicate balance between individual star power and collective success. As the Browns prepare for the next game, all eyes are on how these interpersonal tensions will manifest on the field, with some suggesting that the drama could define not only this season, but the long-term trajectory of both players. The city of Cleveland, meanwhile, waits with bated breath to see whether resolution, escalation, or further scandal is in the offing, creating a storyline that captivates as much as any game day heroics. As the saga between Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward continues to unfold, whispers from inside the Cleveland Browns organization suggest that the tension may extend far beyond the defensive lineup. Sources hint that other players have started picking sides, creating subtle but noticeable factions within the locker room. Reports indicate that some veterans feel compelled to mediate, while younger players are allegedly observing the conflict. As a cautionary example of how superstar dynamics can shape team culture, the coaching staff, facing unprecedented scrutiny, reportedly spends extra hours attempting to foster dialogue, organize team-building sessions, and emphasize collective goals. Yet the public airing of grievances by Garrett seems to have complicated these efforts. Analysts suggest that even minor missteps in communication or alignment on the field could exacerbate existing frustrations, potentially leading to errors, misreads, or missed opportunities during games. Social media adds another layer of complexity, with fans dissecting every interaction, meme, and cryptic comment, amplifying the pressure on both players and management. Rumors also suggest that some assistant coaches privately fear that the conflict, if unresolved, could snowball into a more severe issue, potentially influencing draft decisions, contract negotiations, and future personnel strategies, signaling a crisis that may have implications beyond this single season. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Sources close to the team indicate that the Garrett-Ward feud has prompted management to consider structural adjustments within the defensive schemes, aiming to minimize direct interaction between the two while preserving overall effectiveness. According to insiders, hypothetical scenarios being discussed include staggered play rotations, positional reassignments, or even temporary benching to reduce friction. Though none of these options have been officially confirmed, analysts argue that such measures, while potentially stabilizing the immediate situation, could introduce new challenges, including disrupting established chemistry, confusing role clarity, and affecting in-game decision-making. The public reaction to these internal tensions has been particularly intense, with speculation fueling narratives of locker room anarchy and potential long-term fallout. Fans, journalists, and former players weigh in daily, dissecting every hint of body language, post-game comment, or social media post, turning the Browns' internal conflict into a widespread talking point. While some observers frame Garrett's honesty as courageous and principled, others warn that public criticism of a teammate may undermine leadership credibility and erode trust. The complexity of the situation reflects a broader issue in professional sports, where personal dynamics, egos, and strategic considerations intersect, creating a volatile environment in which every decision carries amplified consequences. Insiders suggest that Garrett's recent statements have sparked private conversations among team leadership, with the front office reportedly weighing options to preserve both team cohesion and player satisfaction. While Garrett's talent and influence on the field are undeniable, the perception that Ward is widely disliked, as Garrett allegedly claimed, has triggered debates about the boundaries of transparency, accountability, and loyalty in professional sports. Analysts speculate that management is carefully balancing the risk of appearing authoritarian against the necessity of addressing potential toxicity before it escalates. Rumors suggest that some team members are frustrated with the spotlight placed on interpersonal conflict, arguing that excessive media attention detracts from preparation, focus, and performance. Meanwhile, the fan base remains deeply divided, with factions supporting Garrett as a leader willing to take a stand, while others defend Ward as a professional unfairly criticized for circumstances beyond his control. The narrative has expanded beyond Cleveland, attracting national attention and turning what could have been an internal matter into a high-stakes discussion about leadership, teamwork, and the psychology of professional athletes. The Browns' leadership faces a delicate task: resolve conflict without alienating stars, protect public image, and ensure that the team remains competitive on the field despite the swirling tension. A balancing act that may define both this season and the organization's future culture. Media speculation continues to intensify, with sports networks, podcasts, and social platforms dissecting every known detail of the Garrett-Ward dynamic. Analysts suggest that public interest in this conflict could influence the team's decision-making, as management may feel pressure to act swiftly to maintain credibility, prevent further distraction, and reassure fans that internal disputes are being handled effectively. Some insiders claim that Garrett's candor may inadvertently set a precedent, encouraging other players to voice grievances in similarly public or semi-public ways, a development that could challenge traditional hierarchical structures within professional sports teams. Social media reactions have ranged from humorous memes to passionate debates about leadership and loyalty, illustrating how fan engagement can magnify internal team issues into broader narratives that shape public perception. While Ward has largely remained silent, speculation about his response, whether strategic restraint, private negotiations, or eventual public statement, has become a central talking point among observers. Analysts warn that any perceived misstep by either player could be amplified, influencing reputations, trade value, and even contract negotiations, the Browns now find themselves at a crossroads, navigating the intersection of talent management, interpersonal dynamics, and media scrutiny in ways that could redefine both the immediate season and the long-term cultural identity of the team. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!